Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. In honor of your time, I want to go ahead and get started. I want to thank you all for taking the time to come and be with us this evening to honor our incoming King and Queen of the Iowa Juneteenth Observance. I mean, what an honor, what a blessing. For me, being a young woman, I'm only 39, to me this is just wonderful for me to be a part of and to honor my history. I would not be here as a young woman as I am now in the positions that I've been able to hold had it not been for our past kings and queens and people in the community like yourselves who are doing wonderful things and continuing to strive for excellence for African Americans statewide. So I thank you and I welcome you for being here with us this evening. Someone said, what's your name? My name is Latisa Watson. I was trying not to think about myself, I'm sorry. My name is Latisa Watson. I am one of the co-chairs for this year's Juneteenth King and Queen activities, and so I welcome you on behalf of the entire Juneteenth Observance Committee and Executive Board, honoring Gary Lawson, who is our heart, who has carried this baby for its entire existence. We would like to recognize him. He's across the hall and wasn't able to make it in the room, so we want to still give him a moment of acknowledgement, as well as Chris, our Chris. So I promise not to keep you long. I know that we're all anxious to get over to the banquet and hear all the wonderful things that have been going on statewide. So I just want to take a moment and start by honoring our past kings and queens that are in the room. If you could, if you're able and willing, would you please just stand for a moment so we can recognize you? Any past kings and queens in the room? If I could have you join me behind, just right here, if I could have you sit here. Amen. Anywhere? And I'll move anything that needs to. Leave it. Speaking of past kings and queens, our outgoing king and queen, George Martin. Again, thank you all so much for being here. There is no future without our past, so we take a moment to honor you for that. And thank you all for being here. As I speak of honoring our past, there are kings and queens who are no longer with us because life has come and that their time is set here on earth. And so I would just like to take a moment to recognize those that we know have already passed. I'm just going to light a candle in their honor and then speak their names and just take a brief moment of silence just to honor them since they are no longer here with us. So if you would join me in that, I would appreciate it. Mr. William Wells Sr., Mrs. Hessie Jenkins, Mr. Edward and Mrs. Barbara Robinson, Mr. Thomas Shears, Mr. Willie Zanders, Mrs. Bertie Hogan, Mr. William Sharp, Mr. Robert Daniel Sr., Mr. Robert L. King Sr., Mr. Robert A. Wright Sr., Mr. Johnny E. Long Jr., and Mrs. Vera Crawford.